Welcome back, everybody. We are back with part 2 of Warzone Fenris, Wrath of Magnus. Awesome. We're going to cover the demons first, even though they're kind of second part or the minor part of the book. But they're smaller parts. We're going to cover those first. We're going to go right into it. The thing that they changed is one of the troop sections, which is the pink horrors. They're still 90 points. And pink horror is weapon skill, ballistic skill 3, strength and toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 3, attacks 1, leadership 7. They have the Brotherhood of Sorcerers special rule, Demon of Tzeentch special rule, so they basically have a 5 up invuln, and they can reroll 1s when trying to roll save. They have a demonic instability. They could deep strike just like they could before. And then they have split special rule, and then magic made manifest. Magic made manifest is if you have 11 to 15 horrors, they generate 2 warp charges instead of 1, and then 16 to 20 you generate 3 warp charge points. So the interesting thing, and I think this will kind of have to be, I'm guessing they're going to have to FAQ, and they might have, I know they did already come out with an FAQ, but I think it wasn't like creating blue horrors and stuff. They're going to have to FAQ because it says warp charge points, but it doesn't say what level they are. Like before, it was like, okay, they're level 2, they get 2 powers, 16 to 20 get 3, and they're just saying charge points. They don't say that they're more than just level 1. So I think they have to FAQ that. You guys can put your input down here. The split special rule is if a friendly unit of pink horror suffers any casualties, the slain horrors will split and create blue horrors at the end of the phase. After all other units have performed their actions and made their attacks, 2 blue horrors are created for each slain pink horror. If there is already a friendly blue horror unit within 6 inches, it's added to that unit. If it can't be set up within 6 inches of the pink horror unit that was destroyed, then they basically destroyed. Or anything that doesn't fit in the 6 inches is gone. So now here's a new thing too. They generate their powers from the change discipline. So it doesn't say anything about being able to do malefic, which they were able to before. So now they can just do change, which is the flickering fire, is the primaris. And then Tzeentch's firestorm, 1 to 2, so it's strength d6 plus 1, assault 1, blast, warp flame, 24 inch. Bolt of change is 24 inch range, d6 plus 4, AP 2, assault 1, warp flame. Infernal gateway is a witchfire power. It's 18 inch, d6 plus 4, AP 1, assault 1, blast, warp flame. So they only have access to 4 powers with primaris. So yeah, that's it. You can buy more, up to 10 more for 9 points a month. So you can have a unit up to 20. You can upgrade 1 pink horror to an iridescent horror, and that's 5 points. And the only thing he gets is 1 extra attack. Now, that's not that great. He doesn't even go up a leadership, but the iridescent horror can take up to 20 points of demonic rewards in any combination. So they can take lesser rewards for 10 points, greater rewards for 20 points. 1 pink horror can take an instrument of chaos. 1 can take an icon of chaos. The instrument is 10 points. Icon is 10 points. The icon can be upgraded to one of the following: an arcane icon for 10 points, blasted standard for 15, icon of fire for 15. So the instrument of chaos, when a unit is deep strike, then you can basically bring another unit with you. So basically the other unit gets to come in automatically if this unit comes in from reserve. So that's what the instrument does. It's worthwhile. I've used it before in the past if you have the points. The icon, basically when determining assault results, roll 1 to your total, add 1 to your total if there are 1 or more friendly units with an icon of wrath of chaos locked in that combat. In addition, if the first model from a friendly unit arrived via deep strike is placed within 6 inches of at least one model with the icon of chaos, the following rules apply. Basically, it's the same as what it was before as far as deep striking with the they scatter D6 if they're another basically chaos god, and if they're Tzeentch within 6 inches, they don't. Now the arcane icon will grant adamantium will, so that's not bad. So it makes them, they're already psychers, so you'd get basically a 4+ to deny the witch. Blasted standard, once per game the unit can declare it is using the blasted standard. This is done immediately before the unit making a shooting attack, including Overwatch, or attempts to manifest a witchfire power. If it does so, any unit hit by that suffers an additional 2d6 strength 4 AP-hits. The icon of fire, basically it basically confers onto the unit's soul blaze. So it's not bad. I mean, for 50, you're paying 10 points plus another 15 points. It's not bad. Blaster Standard isn't terrible either. Arcane Icon for 10 points plus you're already paying the 10 points for the standard. I personally have never used it, and honestly, like, yeah, it's nice to have a 4+ deny the witch, but honestly, most of the time, you know, I don't really care about my Pink Horrors unit. Now, potentially, I'd think more about investing in it if I knew I was going to put a Herald in there that was maybe level 3, and the level 3 plus, you know, the Adamantium Will is going to give you a good bonus to your Deny the Witch, and you're most of the time going to, you know, have a better Psyker, depending on who's shooting at you. I mean, most Imperiums are like level 3. There are a few level 3s, or sorry, level 2, sorry. They're mostly level 2 or 1. Some are level 3, but that's special characters like Tigurius and stuff. And then Eldar, of course, are level 3. Eldrad's more, but you don't see him that often. So, I don't know. It may be worth it. I don't use it that often. As far as the rewards, you know, it also kind of depends on what you plan to do with your unit on the battlefield. Most of the time I run mine naked. I think what it does really change, though, is if, in fact, that they don't have access to malefic powers anymore. Pink Horrors were a lot of times used to, like, just create more units and basically flood the battlefield with more units. And then you generate another Pink Horror unit and you'd get more warp charges and you generate more. But now you don't get that. So, yeah, that changes the Pink Horrors a little bit. Well, a lot of it and how you use them. Now let's cover the 2 new units in the game for Tzeentch and for demons. One is also a troop, and it's a blue horror. So they brought these guys back, but for in the last rendition, they would in close combat if you destroy a pink horror, like I think it was initiative 1 or 3 or something, they would do a hit after they got killed and then be gone themselves. Now they have their own unit. They're 50 points for 10 of them. Weapon skill is skill 3. Strength and toughness 2. So bolters and strength 4 weapons are instant deathing. But they only have 1 wound anyway, so who gives a crap? Initiative 3. Attacks 1. Leadership 7. I mean, they're decent. They'd probably make Grotz jealous. So Brotherhood of Sorcerers, you know, same as the Pink Horrors. They're Demon of Tzeentch. They have Demonic Instability, Deep Strike, Split again, and then Magic's Offspring. So they split again. When they die, basically, they basically create Brimstone Horrors. So one model is created for each slain blue horror. So each blue horror creates 1 Brimstone Horror, well, base, but the base actually has 2 guys on it. So you can take this. They generate their powers from the change discipline, same as the Pink Horrors. And they may include up to 10 additional blue horrors for 5 points a model. So for, you know, 20 guys, you're paying 100 points. You know, it depends on what you want to do, but like they're pretty cheap, and they've got a 5-up invul and reroll 1s. They're in some aspects better than Pink Horrors, depending on what you want to do with them, and having 20 of them, it generates 3 warp charges. I don't know if it generates 3 powers. I will have to see if they fac it. I'm guessing they may fac it to allow it, or maybe that was their intention all along. They seem to be kind of more carefully wording things. Although, like I said, there's already an FAQ up on Games Workshop site. I don't think it talks about this, though.
Destroy.
All right. So the next unit is Brimstone Horrors. Currently, unless you bought the Silver Tower fantasy game that came out a few months ago, there's no way to get Brimstone Horrors. And like, you can't buy them separately. Now I'm guessing later or next year they're going to have box sets for them. I mean, why wouldn't they if they're creating rules for them? How they work is it's a unit of 10 pairs of Brimstone Horrors for 30 points. That's really cheap. Their weapon skill was skill 3, strength and toughness 1. So basically, you sneeze at them and you're going to wound them. They have 2 wounds. Doesn't really mean that much though, because let's be honest. I mean, very little things are strength 1, and most things are strength 2 or higher. So they're instant killing anything they hit anyway. So it looks cool that they have 2 wounds, but let's be honest, most of the time, one wound is gonna double them out, and they're just gonna die. So not that amazing. I would have actually rather that they just kept them all. Do the same thing with the blue horde, just keep them separate, because 2 wounds with toughness 1 is pretty useless. They do have 2 attacks, which there's 2 guys on there. Leadership 7. They have Brotherhood of Sorcerers, Demon of Tzeentch, Demonic Instability, Deep Strike, Warp Flame, and then they generate their powers from change. You can include up to 10 additional Brimstone Horse for 3 points a model. So if you want to do 20, it's basically 60 points. I mean, 30 points for 10 guys is a very cheap troops choice. Now, it's toughness 1. I mean, it's nothing spectacular. But if you want a unit maybe that's kind of captures a back objective for cheap and still provides warp charges, because for even, let's say you wanted to spend 60 points and you had a unit of 20, they can sit on a back objective, go to ground. They don't really have to necessarily do anything. They can if something is close, but they provide warp charge and they're kind of covering the back. And for really cheap, I mean, you're hard pressed to find any troop units that are 30 points, let alone 60. So it's pretty good. So that's the new units that are in this new book. I'm not going to go over the formations. We'll do that in the next video because I think that's better to go through that. What I will go through is, if I can get to it here, sorry, on my iPad here. All right. I'm going to go through the Tzeentchian Warpstorm. And this is only used if you're using the Tzeentch detachment, so it's not the normal Warpstorm. And each of your shooting phases, you roll 2d6. On a 2, so double 1s, it's a boundless mutation, and that randomly selects a character, friend or foe, on the table, excluding any models with a demon special rule. So basically, if you're running just demons, they're pretty much safe. And the model suffers D3 wounds with no saves of any kind allowed. And if this causes the model to lose its last wound, place a new Chaos Spawn model under the control of the current player anywhere within 6 inches of the character, then remove the character as a casualty. So instead of like creating a spawn, a herald, you're creating a spawn. It's still good. Number 3 is Warp Flux. And basically, if any unit attempting to manifest a psychic power suffers a peril of warp, it includes 2 or more dice that are the same number. This effects lasts until you and your opponent next roll the Tzeentchian Warpstorm table. If a unit suffers a peril of the warp, well, you know how to do that. Mirror Step. Randomly select a friend or foe on the table that has the Demon of Tzeentch special rule and remove it from play. The unit controlling player then immediately deep strikes it via deep strike. Now, in order to remove model that's joined to a unit, the whole unit has to have Deep Strike, otherwise it can't do it because it takes the whole unit with them. Alright, 5 is Gale of Change. All Psyker units on the board harness Warp Charge on a 3+, unless they would otherwise harness them on a 2+. This effect lasts until the next turn. So that helps everybody, because Tzeentch is fickle. Makes them manifest warp easier. Number 6 is Mutagenic Fire. All Flamer weapons gain on the battlefield gain the Warp Flame special rule. So every Flamer, once again, friend or foe. Number 7, each player gains D3 rerolls for each rolled separately for each player. Each reroll allows the player to reroll any single dice once during the turn. At the end of the turn, any unused rerolls are lost. So I'm assuming that's game turn. Once again, that helps both people. Warp Surge. The cost of all psychic powers is reduced by 1. However, if the Psyker fails their psychic test when attempting to manifest a psychic power, they suffer perils of the warp. Storm of Fire. Roll a d6 for every non-vehicle unit on the battlefield. On a roll of a 1 or 2, the unit being rolled for suffers d6 strength 4 AP 4 hits with the Warp Flame special rule. And then Brimstone Rain. Set up a unit of 10 Brimstone Horrors under the control of the current player. This unit deep strikes immediately on the battlefield. I guess they want to sell their Brimstone Horrors, huh? Herald's Possession. Randomly select a character, friend or foe on the table, but exclude any models with the Demon special rule. They must immediately make a leadership test, and if passed, nothing happens. If failed, the new Herald of Tzeentch is placed under control of the current player within 6 inches of a possessed model, and then they're removed as a casualty. So this is kind of replacing the double 1 from the normal Warpstone table, except it's not 3d6 on the leadership, it's just regular leadership. Avatar of Change. Player whose turn it is selects a character on the table with the Demon of Tzeentch special rule. That character must immediately take a leadership test. If the test is failed, the model is immediately removed as a casualty. If the test is passed, then place a Lord of Change model under the control of the current player anywhere within 6 inches of the character, then remove the character as a casualty. If the chosen character is your Warlord and it passes leadership test, your opponent does not earn Slay the Warlord until the new summon model is removed as a casualty. Furthermore, the Lord of Change will retain any Warlord trait or that your Warlord had. So honestly, there are some neat things in here, but for the most part, they really kind of benefit both sides, to be honest with you, or hurt both sides. And I actually kind of, although I don't think it's going to happen because they had their chance in the last Fenris one, I was kind of hoping they were going to tame down the Warpstorm table for the regular demons, because it's a little annoying and time taking, you know, even as a demon player myself, it kind of takes a lot of time. And it can do some things to change the game majorly that I just don't think random things should be able to do, but it's the way it is. So that's the Tzeentchian Warpstorm table. Yeah, that's it. I will, in the next video, finish up the demons, Tzeentch demons for Warzone Fenris Wrath of Magnus. We'll go through the formations and the new kind of Decurion type detachment that they have. There are some units that are actually, they basically say, hey, refer back to Warzone Fenris Curse of the Wolfen because they're in that one. So they do reuse some of the stuff from the previous Warzone Fenris. So until next time, take care, guys, and keep on wargaming. I hope you're enjoying the series. Stay tuned for part 3.
Goodbye, you sexy motherfucker.